Hey everybody, welcome back to another Coach's Corner, the final season recap. This is Zim. With me, as always, is Peter
Hello.
and Kevin. Hello, Kevin.
Everyone. Say, is it the final? It's the final regular season recap. Let's not kid ourselves. We'll do one of these when the playoffs are done.
We may do one before the final. I don't know. We may be very excited about it. I don't know. And also joining us is Ron.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Ron. Okay, well, we have a lot to cover, and I don't want to spend too much time on this one because it is Friday, and we all have plans. So why
I
don't
don't.
we? Okay, well, do
I
you?
live here.
That's true. He does live there and has no plans. So as you can see, we've got the schedule ready to go here, and there is last week's schedule. Let's talk about these games, starting with the Goats who stare at men winning against Leather Pharaohs 2-0. Not worth discussing. No big surprises there. The only big surprise is that he didn't beat them by more.
Shame.
So let's just jump to something we can talk about at length, maybe. Game two is a 3-0 win for the Honey Boys over Dirty Mike and the gang, and both coaches, of course, are on our panel. So
The-
go ahead, guys.
There's not much to talk about, honestly. This game, I think we both knew going in it was going to be a game of attrition. And he killed one of my players on turn one. Then he killed a guy on turn four. And the apothecary changed that into from a kill into a murder. And then the game pretty much snowballed from there.
Pretty much, as always with Blood Bowl, you start losing too many bodies, and you got goblins going up on the line.
Yep.
No good's gonna come from it.
I got a team that is focused on taking out a couple players early to get an advantage. However, they all made sure to coat their fists in pillows before the game, so I got not a single injury. However, I am the first coach in MGoB history to have two level 6 players on the team at the same time.
Oh, well, there you go. I didn't realize
As
that.
of now, because I made one pass. Oh yeah, by the way, one of my dead guys got a MVP, so I got one SPP for the game for my one pass. But that one pass was Tommy Guns finally hitting level 6.
I will state that my MVP from the game was new rookie lineman Duckdale Duck, who
Yeah.
fearlessly went after Dirty Mike every chance he had, and every time Dirty Mike knocked him down, he got back up and he said, "I've taken your best shot. Let's see what you got."
Let's be honest. After I made the pillow comment, you can't really say that that was some kind of huge triumph.
A guy named Dale on my team survived through the game. That is a triumph.
That is a triumph.
I won't argue that point. It
No.
is true.
That's true.
I was actually there for the knockdown, and I was thinking about, oh, here we go again, because it was Dirty Mike, and no, he survived.
Yeah, I think I stunned him once, but Dirty Mike, again, absolutely goddamn useless.
All right. Well, that
This game.
anything else that we should know about that one? Any other thoughts? Kevin, you were watching that one, weren't
Oh.
you? No, you weren't, were you?
I have a point.
Briefly.
I set up on one of my later drives because I was not going to be able to move the ball really. I set up for Dirty Mike to blitz that stupid Yeti, and Dirty Mike was, kicking up dirt, getting ready to run, and the kickoff event happens, and the Yeti gets stunned. And then I'm sitting there like, what the hell do I do now? Worst game. Worse than our game last week where you ran all over my team and the playoff events kept going in your favor and I couldn't get an injury. This one was even worse.
Yeah, that's a rough one for anyone to deal with. And Kevin, did you have any thoughts on that one? You watched some of it.
I watched very little of it, but the story of the dice Peter told is what I saw.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't make it until near the end. It was already 2-0 when I joined in there. So let's move on to a nice little upset for Mark and his minions. We had a 3-0 victory over the mighty Legend of Quango. keeping them out of sole possession of first place in the second half, and actually giving him still the aggregate highest total. So Quango has the most
Also,
wins out of anyone this season.
I mean, and Mark owned his own playoff destiny and got it done.
That is right, because that game propelled him into sole possession of third place in the aggregate.
Yep.
And of course, that means with Dirty Mike and Quango being in those first two spots, that means that third spot was the playoff spot, and he got that and didn't have to get into that tangle of the other three who were battling for those 27 points, that 27th point. That being, of course, Ron, who got the win and moved up to 27, and Nick, who got his win against the AI. But let's move on to, unless we have more to talk about with the Quango game.
I was not there for it, unfortunately.
I watched almost all of it.
Mhm.
And I can't remember if you were there, Ron. And Mark came in with a solid game plan. He rented, I think it was the Mummy and the Vampire Star
Yes,
Player.
he did have the big Mummy star player, which was
And-
that guy was brilliant for him.
And for the normally when I've seen Rob play teams to rent star players, Rob seems to luckily take them out turn 1 or 2.
Yeah,
But he
Ha-
didn't,
my
and
hand hand just went up.
Yeah, and Mark was commenting the last time he played Rob, he bought the Mummy, and he was knocked out turn 2 and never got back in the game. But they both stayed in the game. He ran a solid game plan and used them both effectively. Plus, werewolves can win you games, and he's gotten really good at running those werewolves on his Necro team.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob's dice were finally average or slightly below. So
Yeah,
The 1 week I called him to win.
and that was I finally got one of mine. I called Mark to win that one, as I recall.
I think I called that one right. I was wrong on the 2 playoffs. I honestly thought you were going to take Ron, and I thought Miles was going to pull one out against Dale, but I think I was good otherwise.
Well, speaking of Dale and Miles, that's our next game. Another upset, the Enchanted Florist up against the Metal Gods.
I am no longer calling games you win upsets with a level. I
Yeah,
mean, you're
you
still
call
behind
it
the
upset.
TV.
It's going not by TV, but going by place in the standings for the season.
Yes, fair. You finally have a Wood Elf team with some skills on it.
Yeah.
And Miles adapted his game plan, but I watched most of the game, and you ran the perfect Wood Elf strategy, which is mostly roll 2 or better, even when you needed to get your rerolls.
Yeah.
You exited his tackle zones pretty well. He had a handful of turns where he got more than one hit on you, and he couldn't get attrition going. And
Yeah,
you had too many fast
and
bodies
also
to cover.
he is probably the team with the most tackle on it
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to escape. I mean, they caught me out a few times, but I did.
White Widow got a minus movement.
Yeah, I did. I have to now consider retirement for White Widow. That's true.
Oh, leave him in there until nature takes its course.
Yeah, I could just put him on the
minus
line.
1 movement. 8 to 7 isn't so terrible.
It's
'Cause
survivable.
you're still if you're in the middle of the field, you can still reach the sidelines.
Well, he's still a good guy, but he's also now costing me 170 TV.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but he's also a
And
board
like,
dancer with
and
mighty
how
blow.
much is a starting Dark Elf blitzer?
Is it 90 run or 70? Thought it's
Uh,
90.
90. Lineman is 70.
So add the leap to that, which makes him more valuable. So
Plus dodge, plus because he's got dodge out of the gate. Plus he has mighty blow.
yeah. So it's
And,
a lot to think about.
And Dark Elf Blitzers, you have to roll doubles in order to get Mighty Blow.
So
do
and so
War
do
Dancers.
War Dancers.
That's why I keep pointing it out.
That's the thing.
It's not easy getting the
And that's the thing too, is I have to consider that I may not be able to replace him if I don't get the rolls when he levels, right?
Yeah. You have a war dancer that's more capable of getting attrition when he can find a good 2-die block.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But so that when Miles played a great game, I got lucky on a few rolls. He got very unlucky with one technical problem that he had that turned the game around was that accidental dodge.
Yeah, had that not happened, I think Miles had the tie, which still wouldn't have got him into the playoffs, but I think he had the tie.
Oh, I don't know. I think that I had him. I had a good chance at stopping him there. I had my guys closing in.
I just I've seen Miles take RJD and win or get touchdowns he shouldn't. So that's why I thought he had the tie.
Well, we were playing in a blizzard though,
True, true.
which helped shut RJD down a little bit.
All right, for the record here, I'm looking at the our estimations for the week, and everyone said Metal Gods except me and Miles, because Miles popped in last week.
Okay.
You three all said Metal Gods would win. I said
No,
Enchanted Forest.
I was shamed into calling a
Yes,
draw.
yeah. You said Metal. I have that written down. Metal Gods, but shamed by Ron to change to a 1-1 draw. I said Enchanted Forest, but not without pain. And Miles only said Ultraviolence. That was his estimation.
He wasn't wrong, really.
I don't know if it was ultra. I had one guy with a permanent. One of my stars.
Like ultraviolence.
Sorry, say that again, Ron. I keep talking over you.
That was Miles predicting that he was going to, perpetrate ultraviolence on the Flores and get the win.
We can assume that safely, I think.
That's my reading of it. Yeah.
And I mean, he did smash a War Dancer's leg.
He did smash War Dancer's leg and permanently slowed him down for the rest of his probably short life. All right, then let's go to Warpstone versus the Delivery Boys. Another one I missed.
Competitive game of the week.
Yeah, that was a tight one.
Yeah, everyone else had just
the only
shittiest games.
the only non-shutout of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a terrible week for interesting games, wasn't it? But yeah, I was there for that.
I don't know. I found Ensab and Ur versus Quango very interesting.
Yeah, but I missed that one, unfortunately. That game was great. I think Warpstone put points on the board. No, Delivery Boys put points on the board first, and then Warpstone went up 2-1 by the end of the first half. And in the last 3 or 4 turns, Delivery Boys put 2 more up to go to win 3-2.
It was a very good back and forth match.
It was a huge back and forth.
That was fun. I'm sorry I missed that one because a Skaven mirror match to me is very fun.
The most fun thing about it was that it's 2 Skaven teams that don't coach like Skaven teams.
Yeah, that's true too.
So
well,
it was just a shit fest in the middle. They were just beating each other down the entire game. And I'm sure if we look at their injuries, it would show, but I can't remember exactly what happened.
well, I know that. Well, I was going to say I know that I'm pretty sure that James is planning on retiring the Warriors.
He has said so multiple times, but
and I can't remember if he's talking. I don't know. Maybe he wants to promote. He's got that undead team, but I can't remember he wants to make an elf team. That's right.
Yeah, he's been asking about elves, and I think we've recommended that dark elves might be for James's playstyle.
Yeah, dark elves.
That's right. We did talk about that yesterday.
So that may be the final hurrah for the Warriors. And again, we are talking also. I've been asked by a few people, and which means to me that we have to create a little 2 or 3 round tournament for the non-playoff teams, just to keep developing. So we will set that up. And then, of course, the last game. Kevin, you can speak on this.
Completely meaningless, really, the game.
Yeah.
Other than Dane, 2-0. Dane played really well. He had a little bit of bad luck. First half, I managed to get my my ball hawk Pestigore, the one he has wrestle yay so far, but as he levels, he will get more. But I managed to get the wrestle off and pop the ball out and camp it around a giant wall of Nurgle. And normally, in a normal game this season, I would have left it there. But it's the final game of the season, and I wanted levels, so God bless Jiminy Ricketts. He went into a crowd, got the ball, and took off with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the second half, I managed to get a touchdown. Last level 1 Nurgle Warrior, and the star player went to one of my other level 2 Nurgle Warriors. So I actually have 3 block guys on the line, 2 Nurgle Warriors with guard, and the 1 strength 5-1 who, as soon as he levels up, will get. It was the perfect end of the season for me. Everything I could have wanted happened. No one died, and levels happened.
Everything you wanted except the tie.
Yep, except that I felt bad at not being a tie.
Yes.
But you were happier with the win.
I don't know that I was. I think I want my goal going into the next season I play with him is to try and finish the season, 0-14.
And if that means stopping at the goal line, by God.
By God, I might.
Like the AI does occasionally.
Yep.
All right, so that was the final week. Why don't we go to? Well, let's take a look at the leaderboard just to quickly go over that. Then we'll come back before we go to our Hall of Fame. We will confirm the round and close out the competition. But so if we take a look at the leaderboard here, we can see that Quango and Dirty Mike finished the second half in a first place tie. Followed by NSAB and his minions, who grab that third playoff spot, and then the Honey Boys also tied with him, but not enough in the aggregate to overtake him. So he will be playing. The Honey Boys will be playing the Goats Who Stare at Men in a one-game wild card knockout to determine who goes to the semis. So why don't we go to down? Then we go down to the Enchanted Florist made 5th, Metal Gods in 6th, and Delivery Boys, Kaza Doom Patrol, the Goats Who Stare at Men. A very surprisingly poor showing in that second half, but still managed to keep their aggregate high enough to compete for the playoffs. And then of course the Lurg with two wins and only 6 draws. And 3 losses, and then the Warpstone Warriors, 2, 3, and 6 in the second half. Not his best output for a season. But why don't we go on to let's go to our Hall of Fame. And
You want to confirm? You gotta. Should you confirm? Will it have the stuff if you haven't?
Oh, let's do the confirm. Yeah, we said that's why I mentioned it. So hopefully someone will remind me. Let's go to that first. So. Schedule.
Also, we also need to talk about the playoff sudden death wildcard game, but let's do this first.
All right. Well, let's go look at our Hall of Fame. Then we'll talk playoffs. All right. Are we sure we want to confirm the round? Everyone agrees?
Yep.
Okay.
No.
There we go.
Bring on the excitement of the playoffs.
The competition is now closed. All teams are now free to join other tournaments, meaning playoff tournaments that I'll be setting up. All right, and now let's go back to Hall of Fame. See how things shook out. And there we go. Most experienced. Look at that. Cindy Clopper's played a lot of games. Let's move on to most violent. All right, and
Violent is this? What's violent? Is that injuries? I can never remember.
Yep.
Casualties, right?
Casualties. Injuries or deaths.
Level. Okay.
so this injuries and deaths, right? What's which one is knockouts?
I think that's biggest brute.
Biggest
Biggest
yeah.
brute. Okay, so here we go. We have a 1, a 2, and a 3. Amplion Jamie Carroll managed to hold out and takes the top spot with 13. 13 wounds and injuries he's handed out, followed by Redisaurus. And Vivian Campbell of the Metal Gods takes bronze in that one.
Followed by Gimli Goose, and then Dirty Mike at 5th because he was in the top for the first 8 games. In the last 3, he didn't touch anyone.
Dirty Mike tied for 5th with Scarred Face and, of course, Cartouche from the Goats.
And Taurus Bulba.
Where is Taurus Bulba?
It's almost
Oh, yeah,
like
Taurus
Art-
Bulba, too. You're right.
Dirty Mike in the second half.
I only heard the second half of that, but I don't care to hear the first half, so.
All right, as for most violent, we have our best receivers. A little more open field with the departure of Pete Fastlegs. So in
And we are
first
all
place,
for his boss.
In first place, we have a tie between Much Tail Sniffer from the Warriors and Richie Blackmore from the Metal Gods. So they will be sharing gold. And in third there, sole possession of third, Toby McGuire from the Delivery Boys. Anything else you guys want to take a look at on this one?
It's still
Just wanna
amazing to me
appreciate-
that Terrence Cramps is still up there. He was not
Terrence
overtaken
Cramps is
by others.
tied
That's
for
what I was gonna
fourth.
say.
So that's pretty impressive. Just
But apparently RJD has found a way to throw to himself.
one
No, I'm kidding, I
reception
know
away
Walter, that's another
from
receiver,
He does have two
another thrower. I mean, I know. I just had to make the comment for fun.
Dawkins, and that shouldn't happen.
So that's our best receivers there. So next there we go with the serial kills.
Where he
So
belongs on top.
there we go. We've got a six-way tie. So only three of them are pictured here. But
I'd like to point out, as I have every week, that Dirty Mike does in fact have 3 kills, and 1 did not count because the game is poorly coded.
you talking about him killing his own guy?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. This only counts opponents that he's killed to help their team.
No. In that moment, to him, the Goblin was an opponent.
Yeah.
Only the Goblin.
The Goblin was lunch.
And Lunch is the greatest opponent of the day.
Dirty Mike is hungry.
Mm.
So yes. So on top
I'll
of
just
those,
point out, it's like,
And I have to pretend I'm Ron, not hungry enough to be on top of that injury list. There, I did that for you, Ron.
what's that?
I said not hungry enough to be on top of that injury list.
I tell you.
Yeah, it's true and sad. He pillow-fisted Mike. That's what I've been calling him the last 2 weeks.
I would also
Couldn't-
like to point out it's
Couldn't hurt an elf. Couldn't hurt a nude Viking man.
right.
He's just he's coasting for the playoffs. He's saving it for when it matters.
So
I hope so.
Dirty Mike and Gimli Goose, though, are the notable ones on these three. But let's see who the other three that are in that tie are. We've got Tim from the Goats Who Stare at Men, Gorgo from the Legend of Quango, and Alice from the Goats Who Stare at Men.
And they jumped in there with that last game.
They did.
All right.
They heard a lot of
That's
rap.
true.
All right, let's go to interceptions. Any more interceptions? Oh, we have a bunch of guys
No.
who rolled
Some
six.
guys who rolled 6.
They are our biggest brutes. That's the one that's combo of knockouts and injuries, right?
Just
knockouts.
Oh, it was
knockouts.
just knockouts? Okay. So at the top, let's make sure. Okay, we do have Vivian Campbell is holding top spot.
And right below him is pillow-fisted Mike.
Tied, I believe, with Phil.
Yep.
Tied with Phil, yeah. So they
Phil can't get injured to save his life, but at least he knocks guys out of the game.
Yep.
In fact, he's killed a couple of guys only to have them get better, which is why he's not on the serial kills list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's terrible when they get better. And our best thrower is here. Let's see. We should have a pretty... Okay, that is a top 3 right there. So RJD could not pad his stats that much in this game. He just threw a couple meaningless... I guess he did. He threw a couple meaningless passes in the game, like on, a turn 8 glamour pass, that kind of thing. So a few more
Yep.
points there. But Naughty Nathan in number 2 spot. And the Derby Boys get Mr. Calzone into that third spot.
Who's hanging in there despite the loss of his favorite target, Pete Fastlegs.
Yeah, I know. That's all. We'll all say a prayer.
Yeah.
All right, here are our best rushers.
What in the heck happened there?
Well,
Well,
yeah, he moved up ahead of Logan Fast Tusk there, and so did RGD.
and Pete Fastlegs, who was previously the top of
Previously
this list by a
rocked.
mile,
Yeah.
is now
All right,
gone.
let's look at the
vanished.
gaps here. So we've got Cindy Klopper with just an insurmountable lead, followed by a pretty tight pack then after that, eh?
Looks like it.
But the top 2 are goatee fellas there, and an orc. And our best passers, again, no surprise there, RJD, who's kind of in range, though. Not an insurmountable lead on this one. 8 total passes compared to 7 and 7 for these two.
For the 2 Skaven throwers.
Spooky and
In
Mr.
the
Calzone,
league.
yeah.
Well, 2 of the 3, I guess. Oh wait, no.
Well, let's see.
No, never mind. I think Warpstone have 2. Yeah.
Much Tail Sniffer has someone with 3, but he's with 3. I mean, and then our best scorers, Gigan and Logan Blacktusk, are 2 top spots.
And I think that's why you didn't see Logan Blacktusk higher up in the standings, because I believe that Mark made an effort to get his other werewolf some touchdowns.
Right. Looks like he did it.
Yep.
So, but actually, again, we should mention that third spot is part of a tie. Not pictured are Toby McGuire from the Delivery Boys and my own Trainwreck from the Florists.
Rigged.
And their most matches played. Look, these guys played a bunch of games. Although it's interesting. Let's see. They played 11. It means they were never injured. Although again, these are also players who are we have age turned on. I can't remember the rules for that, but after a certain amount of time, those players do retire. I think it's a few more seasons yet, but just something to keep in mind for some of the.
I will cry myself to sleep on that day.
Some of the elder statesman teams out there do have players that are aging. I think it probably averages out to about 10 or 11 seasons worth for each one of them before they're retired. So, unlikely for us to see that. But
well, you're talking about halves though, not full seasons.
Well, it goes by the amount of games they play.
Yeah, because Dirty Mike, I think, is at 4 years now.
Yeah, because I think it's like something like 12 games counts as 1 year of player life. So.
Oh, he's 5 now. Not. Yeah. So.
But yeah, old. There it is. So why don't we take a quick look at?
Do you want to go one more? Look at the biggest punching bags.
Oh, sorry, did not look at that. Let me shut this.
I was sure I was going to have someone leading that list, but I was wrong.
No, Leatherfair is still at the top, but let's see. Hang on. Yeah, he is at the top, but then we do have a bunch of guys.
Audrey Heppy is in that important tie.
Audrey Heppy is silver, sharing silver with a bunch of guys. Hedora, Dirty Boy from Dirty Mike, Ryan Bosling from the Goats, and Titus Algor-Mortis from En Sabinor's Minions. It was always fun to look at that, to picture those last few. And I don't know why Hedora is like he's ducking. He's trying not to get his picture taken there.
Yeah, most of for a second he'll fix himself up.
He's worried about getting hit again, I think.
He probably thinks the cameraman's going to take a swing at him. He's punchy.
That's true.
Anyway, let me go back to their...
If I was in that room, I'd take a swing at Hedora.
I think we all would. I think we all have.
I think most of us have. So quickly, the playoff standings are showing here, as we can see. This is the older one. I've updated this, but for some reason it's showing me the older one. Although I think the totals are correct. So as we can see, no, they're not correct. There's one more in there. So let me just take this off. We've gone over it already. We know who's in the playoffs. The next step will be, in fact, as soon as we're done recording this, I will go and set up a tournament and send out tickets to Ron and to Nicholas. I let Nicholas know he's down. He's good to play soon.
We pray.
Yep, and we'll get that done. Other than that, anything more to discuss, guys?
Well, just out of curiosity, for the whoever doesn't make the semis, are they going to be joining the other teams in that little tourney?
Oh yeah, because then you don't get to play those other 2 games. So and you do get an A, but you get the bonus of having an extra game played to develop. So,
do we want to talk about predictions for that game,
or lose players?
I guess we should talk predictions. We'd be remiss to end without each of us putting it on the line. What's your call, Peter?
In my heart, I think that Nicholas may pull it off. The Goats may win.
Well, okay,
But
not
in
not
my
really
heart,
going out
I
on a
also-
limb there.
In my heart, I also hope that they do not, because I would like these playoffs to move along. That's some shade I'm throwing at him, which you'll never hear because he's never going to watch this.
No, that's true. Kevin?
It's kind of the opposite. Logically, watching how the teams have played, knowing what I know about how they're run, I would give the edge to the Honey Boys. But I don't know. I think the Killfest versus those poor delivery boys, and getting that nice easy game against the II. I think Nick might finally be rolling, and the dice might not hate him anymore.
It might have rejuvenated him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there might be a new interest here. So I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say the Goats. Besides, I got to pick someone because Ron and I have each won a championship, so I gotta back a different horse too.
All right. Well, let's just be clear though. You're the only one who's won a majors championship, and that's something
And
Ron is hungry for.
That's true, but that will change this year. Someone else will hoist the cup this year.
That's right. And neither you or I will be playing in that game.
And I was going to say, and the road through the playoffs does not go through you or I this year.
That's right. So you know what? I'm just based on second half performance alone. I've got to give the edge to the Honey Boys.
I said that's the smart pick.
But again, the Honey, no matter how far Ron develops the Honey Boys, they're still going to have 7 armor.
Yeah, the way I see this game,
which
honestly,
is the great danger.
It's basically two very similar teams in terms of composition and skills, but one of them has 8 armor.
Yeah, Ron, what's your call? I mean, not that I'm going to be surprised by your answer.
Probably one of the worst matches for me. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've had very much success against the Goats in any league. But I got to win.
Well, you must win.
I know that championship is sitting there waiting for me to take it from everybody else. First person I got to take out to do it is the Goats. So be it.
I hope you win, so that way I can have a rematch against you and kick your ass.
Well, it will be
your Vikings.
And if we want to go over structure here, the way it works, Rob with overall first aggregate will play the 4th aggregate, which will be the winner of this game. So if you win this, you go on to play Quango.
Oh yeah.
And
either way, I'll be playing N7 Nur then.
We can make a prediction: Dirty Mike and Instab at Nur. I don't know how that's going to go.
Well,
although I think you're going to be. I'm going to give that one to you, Peter, because I think after this last one, you're going to have a little fire in your eye.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I lost a guard player, and that's huge against that team.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That is a huge disadvantage for me. So I don't honestly. If I had, if Muggsy Bobonek was still on his feet,
well, if only.
I would call this for me, but now it's a hard call.
I would have to. I'm going to go with the Minions. Those just simply because those 2 werewolves are going to be a load to handle.
Well,
and I think Mark will have enough TV to pick up a star player in there to make things interesting.
Well, and the Minions have been on a roll, and Mark's been doing great in 2 leagues. Let's face it. He just played a final in the rookie league.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's been on a roll, but Dirty Mike has been waiting for this. Dirty Mike has been he spent 3 seasons developing this team, and he's hungry. And you know what? I'm going to have to give this one to Dirty Mike.
But if he's hungry, doesn't that mean there's a good chance he might eat one of his fellow teammates?
Not if he doesn't try to throw them.
It'll just motivate the rest of them if it happens.
That's right. All right. So did we get a prediction for everyone?
Yeah, well, unless we want to estimate how the Quango versus Goats and Quango versus Boys games will go, but
We will.
that seems a little
We have to
far
have a
out.
special addendum before that.
Yeah, we'll have a special.
A special playoff edition.
Yep.
I'll tell you right now how it'll go. I will beat the Quango as well.
Well,
I am one of the few teams that have actually hands this season, so.
Fair enough.
me too. I've also beaten them.
So then let's we'll call it on this one, and we'll plan on having a pre semis special edition coaches corner then, so we can talk about how this game coming up went and what to expect from the playoffs. Maybe we'll find a couple other special guests to add to that one.
That'll be good.
Yeah, make sure that everyone who's going to be listening is also in it and speaking. Because we do have an audience of
Somehow.
what three people, I think. Listen
Somehow
to
that sounds counterproductive, but I don't know enough about video production to dispute it. So
All right. So
Hey, we had a,
so go ahead, Kevin.
I was gonna say we had a grand old time with everyone on the filming of the wheel. So when we get more league members in here, it's just always fun.
It is fun. It is fun to have new people in and hear some. I kind of know the way things are going to go with you guys. But like Miles came in the other day, and he he had some opinions outside of the regular ones that I'm used to hearing. So it was good to have him there.
Agreed.
All right, so we'll call it a day. Thanks for joining me, guys, and thanks for those of you who are watching / listening to this. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you all soon. Have a great night. Thank you, Kevin.
Good night, everyone, and to everyone in the playoffs. May Nuffle follow you the way through there.
And from Peter.
see ya.
And from Ron.
Take care, everybody.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a great week. We'll see you in the playoffs.